Hey everybody, Sean here, and welcome to Revealing Truth. And special thanks to James Boone and Jason Stapleton for sharing this. Now you might have seen this already, but if not, here it is. And I want to ask you, does it seem like Mike Todd is copying people's sermons?
God's firstborn, and he's God's first fruit. And so Jesus is God's tithe. He gave Jesus before.
Can I say something to you that you maybe never thought of? Jesus was God's tithe. He sent his only and his first son on a maiden.
One more illustration. Jason and Steve and Todd, will you guys stand up?
Hey, Charles, Will, Scott, come here real quick. Last analogy, we going home.
I'm going to give you an illustration. Let's say that I say to these three men, I'm going to go away for a while. And I've provided for Debbie, but I want to provide some additional funds for her. But I want to channel or funnel those funds through you three men. So I'm going to send each of you $10,000 a month, okay? Jason, don't get that excited. This is just an illustration. Okay.
Let's say I'm going on a trip, and I'm gonna be gone for an extended period of time. Y'all come right here. I'm gonna be gone for an extended period of time, and I want to provide for Natalie, my wife, and I'm taking care of her, but I want to provide some extra finances just in case she gets in a spot. And I'm gonna give each one of y'all $10,000 every. Hold on, it's just an example, okay? Just an example. Scott, calm down.
So, I'm talking to Debbie Everett, and I say it to you, but I want you to give Debbie 10% of it, $1,000 a month, and you can keep the 90%. Just give my wife 10%. So I'm talking to Debbie every day and letting her know, it's an extended trip, but I'll be back in several months. I have to be gone. And after about 3 months, I think about these other funds, and I say, hey, how are the funds coming in from the three guys? And she said, well, Jason sends $1,000 a month. Just like you said. As a matter of fact, it arrives like January 1st, February 1st. I mean, he's like clockwork. It's $1,000. So good job, okay?
I'm gonna provide $10,000 extra for her through all of you, and all I want you to do is give her $1,000 each time I send you the $10,000. The other 9, you can keep. You can do whatever you want to do with it, but I just want to give you that money, okay? And what if I talk to my wife every night? What's up, baby? How you doing? Oh, I miss you. Caking. Y'all remember caking? Okay, cool. So I'm talking to her, and I'm like, hey, you remember those finances that I was gonna have Charles and Will and Scott give to you? How's it been going? And she's like, yeah, so Charles sends $1,000 every 1st and 15th, like clockwork. It's like $1,000, like it just keeps coming. I'm like, okay, that bet.
I said, well, what about Steve? She said, well, Steve is sending $2,000 a month. I said, $2,000 a month? I didn't ask him for $2,000 a month. I just asked him for $1,000 a month. I know. I said, well, why is he sending I don't know. He just sends $2,000 a month.
I said, what about Will? Will, for some reason, sends $2,000. I was like, what? I was like, I just told him to send $1,000. I know, but every 1st and 15th, he sends $2,000. And it's just been consistent all over.
I said, well, what about Todd, sorry. Todd. I said, what about Todd? She said, well, we need to talk about Todd. I said, well, why? What's Todd doing? Well, the first month he sent $700. The second month, $400. And this last month, he didn't send anything.
And I was like, okay, so what about the thief? I mean, what about Scott? And he said, well, let's talk about Scott for a second. She said the first time he sent $700. The second time he sent $5. And this last month, he didn't send anything. And I say, what? Scott didn't send nothing this last month? She said nothing. I said, but I gave him the $10,000.
Okay, now I want you to think about this. Think about this. How do you think that makes me feel? And I'm giving him the $10,000. It's coming from me. And I just asked him for 10%. for my wife. He can keep the 90%. Okay, what do you think I'm going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to send him any more money because he's proven to me he can't be trusted. And I'm going to take what I'm giving him and I'm going to give it to Steve and Jason because they've proven they can be trusted.
Who would I stop sending resources to?
You're not a bad person if you don't tithe. You're not a bad person.
Watch this. Not because he's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's because he didn't do what I asked to be done with the resources.
Okay, listen to me very carefully. Tithing might be more personal to Jesus than what you thought.
Could it be said that tithing may be more personal to Jesus than we think?
He has the power. And if you say, well, I can't believe you just take it away and give it to the others. If you don't think Jesus would do that, read the parable of the talents. When he took from the one that wasn't faithful and gave it to the one who was faithful. He wants to provide for you. But why would he provide and bless people who will not even be concerned about his wife? It's a test, and it's very important we pass this test.
And if you don't believe that's real, go study the parable of the talents. Where God literally took from the one who did not do what he asked him to do, and he gave it to the ones who weren't. Now listen to me. This is an example of me trying to provide for my bride. But Jesus calls the church.
Let me just to remind you, is the church the bride of Christ?
His bride.
And I've got to tell you, I was just going to read it to you and then tell you, but I've got to tell you so you can see it as we read the passage and not think about the old legalistic way that it's presented many times. When I say don't rob God, I don't mean by you keep your tithe and your tithe belongs to him and so you're robbing God of money. I actually don't think that's what this means. I personally don't think that God needs our money. Do you? I don't think he does. Here's what I think he's trying to say in Malachi 3, and this is what I'm saying in this message. And you could even put it after the 3 words, don't rob God, if you want. Don't rob God of an opportunity to bless you.
And a lot of churches, and I want to apologize, they really, really do a disservice to this because they misinterpret the heart of God on the tithe. And I'm going to expose where it gets misinterpreted, and I want to give Transformation Church, who is the key to the rise of a holy rebellion, I'm going to give us the actual right interpretation. Malachi 3, okay? We've heard this in almost every offering time ever. Will a man rob God? How do you rob God? In tithe and offering. So don't rob God. Give your tithe and your offering. That's not the spirit in which I believe God is speaking this scripture in. When I begin to think about let's just be really practical. Who gonna rob God? No, I just God's here, you're here. Practically, could anybody actually Lord, give it to me, right now, I ain't playing with you. I'll withhold my worship. Like what? It cannot be that will a man rob God of money? What is the only way you can rob somebody who's in authority? You don't rob God of money. You rob God of the opportunity to bless you. How can a man rob God? Not doing things his way, and he cannot reward you the way he wants to reward you.
It takes faith to give the first 10%. It also states that we put God first. It's the principle of first that I preached to you many times. The firstborn represents this. The first fruits represent this. Jesus is God's firstborn, and he's God's first fruit. And so Jesus is God's tithe. He gave Jesus before we repented. He gave Jesus hoping that we would then come to him and let him bless us. So this is what the tithe is.
He wants you to see that you can never outgive him. Can I say something to you that you maybe never thought of? Jesus was God's tithe. He sent his only and his first son on a maybe so that he could get an entire family of people to believe. It doesn't take faith to sow something after you already know you got it.
A couple of things I've started doing practically is I don't prepare my messages alone anymore. Tell me about it. Oh, bro, it's the most freeing thing that's ever happened to me. So I call in a couple of dudes. What day you do this? This is Wednesday. Wednesday. So preach Sunday. Same time or kind of more like on your call? No. I mean, most of the time it's pretty consistent. Okay. But sometimes, so I'll tell you, Sunday I preach. Monday, Sabbath, I don't do nothing. I go get a massage. I text back on Mondays, man. What'd you say? You don't ever text back on Mondays. Boy, shut up. So Tuesday, I'm back in the office. I'm CEO, like finances, meetings, this, that, and the third. Wednesday, I shut everything down. Okay. So Wednesday, first half of the day, I'm just gathering content. I'm watching everybody because I get inspired by people who do what I do. And I think this is a lost art in preaching because everybody warns against it because they don't want people to start sounding like people. But it's like, basketball players play with basketball players. Like where in the world do you you only shoot by yourself and you only defend yourself? Like, it's a good take. You're weak. It's a good take. So I heard that. I listen to everybody. It's not a set group of people, but I'm listening to see what's happening. Because it inspires you. It inspires me, and it speaks to me. Yep. There's so many times I've texted you and I'm like, bro, your sermon yesterday, you be like, bro, you listen to my sermon? I'm like, bro, dog, that was phenomenal. Scrub through. Yeah, but so first half of the day, I'm just gathering ideas and content, and I'm all through.
I do tons of stuff I don't like doing because of the vision that God's given me. Can I be hot with y'all, humble, open, and transparent? I don't like studying to preach every Sunday. It is tedious work for me. I start on Wednesday to get to Sunday, and I'm working on Thursday and on Friday and on Saturday, and I'm tweaking up until 30 minutes before service on Sunday. Every week. I hate it.
Well, it sure looks like he's copying sermons to me. We already know that he's a showman, and a bad one at that, with some poor theology. But is he too lazy to study the Bible and make up his own sermons? That says a lot about this man. Anyhow, the proof was in the pudding there, so we're going to keep it simple today. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, take care and God bless.